So today, hopefully this goes well enough. I know I've got a fan in the background, so you'll have to apologize for that, and I can only get up so far here. I'm only really using a crappy phone camera. But essentially, I'm going to just be setting up the initial cluster. This is really only going to get to Patreons. I don't really know. I got a lot of heat sinks here. Some of these are like black and better than others, and others are just silver. So I don't know if there's some of these are supposed to be for. I'm not really sure what all of these are for. We'll figure out some of that stuff. Hopefully there's some sort of instruction manual for this at least, and hopefully my phone doesn't run out of storage. I'm going to be trying to be quick about this. Worst case scenario, got to break it up into a couple videos. So one of these is the top one. There's really no... Is there? Okay, good. We got a guide here. So I don't have to worry about being too much of a total idiot. I'm going to assume that this is the base one here. So it just wants me to install on each thing. Second there, just to figure some things out. Otherwise I would have been wasting all kinds of time. So I took the brown wrap off of this. So now I need the small head screws that was sank through the bottom. I don't really think there's a top or bottom to this one. And essentially putting these through here, it would seem, and then putting these through here. So doing that 4 times. Pretty straightforward. Hopefully I haven't messed something up here, otherwise it's going to be absolutely awful when it comes to later on. I'm not going to have fun. Let me make sure that I'm in front of the camera here. So yeah, I got the 4, put the tiny screws in the bottom, these in the top. Sorry for any lighting issues or anything like that. Or any fan noise, that kind of stuff. So there's the first 4. And it says from here, so I've got this is my Raspberry Pi 3B. And it should just fit in this, it was saying. Doesn't seem right. Let me make sure that this thing doesn't get stuck. Yeah, I think I had it on the wrong way there just a bit. Yeah, so then this has to go down on this. So I'd make this like the bottom one, just because it's 3B, and then that way you still have access to the SD card. I know it might be a little hard to see. There you go. So there's that, and then it says that I gotta take some of the nuts and secure it on with that. This is going to be beyond tedious. I don't think, is there a specific direction these go? I can't really tell. They're very tiny. I do not like my hands. Alright. It's 1 on. 1 out of 4. I can already tell that that's going to be a real pain. Yeah, the instruction booklet for this was not exactly... Let me make sure that I have that in a good view there, because my camera is very fickle in terms of where it's set. Didn't exactly have the best instructions for this. Kind of just gives you like this little booklet. Not very detailed. Doesn't really show you what's what. It's just kind of like, hey, here's a booklet, put it together. So... I was trying to be smart there. Guess that didn't work. I guess it doesn't really matter what direction I put these on, just so long as they get on. At least by the looks of it. Yeah, this one in the corner here is going to give me issues, I can already tell. Ooh, no fun. No fun indeed. really have like a tool or anything. They sent like a little, there we go. They sent like a little screwdriver, but I've got better screwdrivers than that. Okay, so there's the first thing on a thing. First note on a panel. And again, I took a little bit of a look here, and now I need to prep the top fan. So actually gotta, so I guess this is the topmost. So that's where you want the master one at. And this is another, and these are always a pain. I guess I could have taken these off screen. In fact, I might do that real quick. Just take some of these off screen. I'll take one off on screen, just so you guys can kind of see that they are a real pain in the butt to get off. Toss it to the side there. It's no fun. It's destroying my nails a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna pause the video and just take these off, just because there's no point to showing this like 5 times over. That would be no fun. I know that this is supposed to be the whole, like, you know, quote unquote unedited of me putting everything together, but it's just a waste of time. So I'll be back in a second. I got the peel off of all of them. It's a little bit harder than I expected. Is this one like? I think there might be one in here that's a little messed up or something, or maybe they're supposed to be all in a... Yeah, they're all supposed to go a single direction, hopefully. Okay, so the question becomes, where does the fan technically go? I guess I'll check that out in a second. Well, probably like this, because then it's right over the CPU. Like that. So what I need to do now is take these larger bottom screws and put these bigger things through them. Now that I actually have panel pieces to put through, so I'll do that first here, and then I will prep the fan essentially. So, because I don't want to get too out of order from this thing, only to then find out that I've completely ruined my tower somehow. So it's getting there. It's getting there. It's gonna be good when this thing is done. So where is my last? Yeah, I'm gonna be angry if I'm missing a screw, which I might be. Nope. Okay, here it is. I was about to say, if I'm missing one, that's gonna we're gonna have an issue. So there's those 4 bottom screws. They don't go in too tight. Okay, so now it says that I gotta prep the fan. So I'm gonna take one of the fans out. And at least with the fans, they're all self-contained in terms of their nuts, bolts, and else others. So let's just, come on, dump those out. Okay. So now it says that I need to prep the fan top. So I'm going to assume, does it go underneath? It doesn't really say. That's the problem. Yeah, it looks like it goes underneath like this. So, question is, which way do I want these going? Which way do I want these going, if it focuses? There we go. Yeah, you'll have to excuse if there's a couple parts where I go kind of out of camera. It's a little hard to see where I am on the camera when I'm hunched over as such. So I'm going to just give this another little reading here, because as you can see, the fans go on the inside. That's probably going to be kind of upside down. Not really sure what direction this video is going to end up going. As you can see, yeah, there you go. They're kind of upside down. So I assume... Actually, that's a good reference. Let me look at that again. Because the screws are coming in from the top of it, and the fan is below. So I probably want to do something similar. So here we are. Let me just goes the screw. And that's all 4 of them. And that's just it looks like they give me a spare nut as well. It's always good. I'd rather they give me more than whatever I need than, again, I only have like 3 out of 4 or something. I'd rather have 5 out of 4. It's always better. Okay. So that's 2 on so far. Really hope I'm doing this right. I would assume so. 3 and it's a little stuck. 4. Hand tighten them as much as possible. That one was a little, some of them are a little loose. Okay. So that looks like I'm going to want it going that way. And then I believe when it comes to the fans, it was saying that it should be the red cable to this one. Okay, so I'm going to want these two. I believe it should be, hopefully my hair is not getting in the way. That one and this one. And then let's make sure that the wires are not in the way of the fan. That would not be good. Ooh, what's going on here? Maybe they need to come to the outside? Because I'd rather the wires not be in the way here. And the wires are currently in the way. That would not be good. There we go. Okay, so that'll keep them pinned over on that side. Not really liking how those aren't staying straight on. Okay, there we go. And then on top of that layer, you just put another, yeah, so then it shows that sticking up out. And then you just put on the next one by the look of it. Okay. Hopefully this is easy enough to add layers onto. Otherwise it's going to be quite the process when I need to add more Raspberry Pi clusters. Hopefully it's not too hard to say just slide one in. I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. But there is one cluster layer, so it's got a nice fan right over top of the CPU. I'll definitely get this plugged in here. So yeah, let's just keep doing them. Let's prep these fans too. Let's just get all the fans at least plugged in. That way it's one less thing that I have to do in the future. That's a little janked. Oh well. It's not like it's broken. If it was ripped, I'd be having to do some electrical stuff, and it's not usually my forte, but I can definitely do electrical stuff if need be. So let me make sure that I get these all going in the same direction. We want these to be... That's a good question. That's a good personal question. I might have that on the wrong way if that is supposed to... They don't make it very clear if I want... I think I want the black end on the other side, so I might have to take this back off. Oh boy, you guys get to watch me be an idiot. So I think I had the screws on right, but I did not have the... Okay, yeah, that came off relatively easily. Let's see how easily this comes off, though, with the nuts and all that. Okay, cool. So yeah, adding nodes should not be too hard. We're already getting into, essentially, because I don't want it pulling air in. I want it to pull air out, obviously, to keep things cool. Ah, come off. There we go. So I want things to come off. Really gonna enjoy that. Okay, so let's see here. Let's try and position this in the most optimal way too, so that it reaches and keeps things out of the way. Right, because it shows the... It's not very clear in terms of what direction the fan is supposed to be. Because the one image here, it says put this layer, this is going to be upside down, where it says put this layer on the long standoff, and then it shows the black end here. So I'm assuming I'm going to want the black end facing up. So we want... So do we actually want the nuts to face upwards then, technically? By the looks of it, yes. This is so weird. I don't like it. Everything is... Yeah, that would actually make sense, because then... Yeah, because then if it's raising things up underneath, and say that's a piece underneath, yeah, that makes sense. Something happened there, so I'm saying that the video recording stopped, so it's a good thing that I am watching and keeping track well enough. Might have hit some sort of limit, not really sure. It didn't really flash the error for too long, and it's still... Well, there goes one of my nuts, but I've got the spare ones. So I'll just use one of those rather than reaching down to pick it up or anything like that. Hopefully this is not a multi-video process where I have to go and stop recording multiple times and then move things over to my computer before I can continue. That would not be fun. That would kind of get on my nerves real quick. Alright, now the process of, can I lug this in without making a total idiot of myself? Apparently not. There we go. Okay, they're both in. Yeah, and that definitely looks like how a fan should in terms of pulling air away, hopefully. I don't know a lot about fans. I know some about electrical. Never really had any like an electronics class, like physics class for electronics or any of that. I appear to be missing one of these. I'm not sure where it disappeared off to, but it's fine. Hopefully it's not just... Ah, I found it. It's underneath the, what I have the camera on. So let me just... Yeah, there we go. Okay. So, next one of these. Put this on in the right way. Keep prepping. It's still recording. We're at, like, what, a minute or something like that for this section. You guys won't notice, though. Well, you'll notice the jumps, but... God, my commentary must be absolutely atrocious. Talk about bland. Blandon. Even though my name isn't Brandon. But Blandon nonetheless. Used to know a guy named Brandon. Call him Blandon. Good stuff. Alright, come on. There we go. So that's in. Forgive any background scuffling. I'm sure you guys can all hear the fan. It's probably annoying beyond belief. So I'm going to want to put one of these in. And one of these in. Just because I want to leave as few parts around as possible. So from here, it's going to be repetitive for the next thing or two, essentially. Don't have any actual Raspberry Pis to put in. Just going to keep plugging in parts. Building a tower. Nice little skyscraper of computer components here. Nice little skyscraper of computer components. So I guess in the meantime, I'm waiting for USB to barrel jack to bail jack. I believe it's 4 times 1.7 millimeters. And what I'll be using those for is essentially powering Steam Links for the Steam Link tower by USB. So, and I'll show the USB power supply that I have here in a little bit. But I figured I would just keep up on this. So, alright, we got the next stack of the tower there. So, just one more. Other way. Other way. Okay. Ooh, let me not bump one of my... So this is going to be real good after this, because essentially I'm going to have way less stuff sitting around, and I can toss all kinds of little plastic bags and destroy the environment with that. Not really, because they'll be inside of a larger trash bag. So, cheap little plastics from China. Okay, so we put this on in the same way. Doing the same thing and expecting a different result. Definition of insanity, right? Okay. Granted, talking to myself during a video for commentary could also be considered definition of insanity. Someone was to walk in and just see me talking to myself. That exactly wouldn't go over well either. Ooh. Let me not accidentally push my cluster to the fringes of beyond. Alright. So, one more. Okay. Should probably make sure that I put these bottom chunks in. Make my life easier for when I eventually do add other single board computers to the cluster. And just make sure I'm still doing all this stuff in front of the camera. It's getting a little bit harder because of the cluster here, so I'm actually going to move that to the side. Not like it matters. It's the exact same thing I did last two levels of the cluster case here. Excuse me, a little red and black wires getting in the way there. Okay. Cool. So this should be the last four. It's a very empty cluster case, sadly. Need to start buying some more Raspberry Pis and start buying some more other single board computers. Ooh, this one's not going on very easily. I don't like that. Okay, there we go. I was about to say, man, that's gonna annoy me. Is this thing leaning at all? No, it might just be my perception from above. So now, because this is actually the top one, I would want that in there. So this is the Raspberry Pi 4. So I actually need to put on our first heat sinks here. They gave a bunch of heat sinks in this. I think, like what, they gave like 1, 2, you guys can't really see. I'll move this to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I guess depending on whether you have Raspberry Pi 3 or 4, they basically sent enough heat sinks to cover whatever you have, whatever type you have, whether it's 3 or 4. God, I can already feel these sticking together a little bit and sticking to my hands too. So yeah, I actually haven't put heat sinks on my Raspberry Pi 4 yet. So let's do that. If the blue thing would come off, cut my nails not too long ago, so let me just, come on. Man, you know, I've never had problems with heat sinks like this, or it's just not coming off. I think I'm starting to pull at the actual stuff that I want to leave on there. Right, is that technically thermal paste? Yeah, I guess that would be stick. Thermal paste stick. I guess we'll find out if I eventually, if something ends up like exploding. That will not be a good day. So, I guess I should probably secure the Raspberry Pi down first, now that I know that there's nothing on the bottom, before I go and try and put more thermal pads on. I guess I should have done that beforehand, because this is going to be a pain to try and get them on while it's on this thing, I think. I can always take it off, but it'd be a bit of a hassle too. No, I'll just do that for now. I'll just take it back off. It's going to be a long video for like the 2 Patreons that are going to want to sit through this. My God. Okay, so I got that back off. So now let's put some nuts on the bolts, even if it's just this side, because that will definitely make things way more stable than before. So at least the good thing is that my camera quality, it fades out at points, you'll have to excuse that, but it seems like the overall camera quality and lighting is good enough. You get to see my bright red hands. Best quality. Yeah, I figured that this part right here was going to be a bit of an issue because you've got the GPIO and then the power over Ethernet right next to each other in one of these. Man, I need like a... Yeah, I don't know if I'm getting that on. Well, 3 out of 4 ain't bad. Well, it is if I'm missing something, but I got it. Look at that. Straight up magic. Alright. So let's put that back on top. Oh, I gotta crack my back there for a second, and my hands, and everything. Now, let's just keep peeling off blue stuff that barely wants to come off as it is. Move that to the side. So these are fickle. These are very fickle. And this long one goes right on the longer piece there, I would assume anyway. And then this very tiny one, not the tiniest one, but very tiny, nonetheless. Come on, blue stuff. Blue stuff is too stuck to the actual white. There we go. This one, I believe, goes on here? Yeah. And, man, someone's not going to be happy with me not being consistent in terms of my heatsink directions, but at least for that first one. I always like to put the heat sinks on that direction, going from side to side for the CPU, but the rest of it, I usually just put all going same direction. Okay, so there's the 4 heat sinks are now all on. So now we have one more layer. This will tighten down the black tower that it's on, thankfully, and okay, means we have just this, which goes like, come on, that should have been obvious based on where the CPU is located, as you can see. Okay, so let me just get the fan on now. Last fan. Man, I'm gonna have so many tiny plastic bags to throw out after this, because I'm gonna have 0 use for any of these. But hey, it's better to throw out tiny plastic bags than entire CPUs, like a certain company that a certain friend works for did. They threw out like a bunch of 3-year-old Threadrippers. So, if that company hears me say that, they'll know who they are. Well, maybe not. A lot of Silicon Valley companies are big boys. They know what they're doing. Anyway, so just screw these up in here. Still, I'm gonna have to keep some of these bags at least. If you guys want to see another fan. So yeah, I always kind of put them with the wires going this direction, because then it comes back around to the GPIO and just barely reaches and doesn't get in the way of the fan. At least it shouldn't. So let's finish putting in some of these screws. And then after this, you'll probably see another jump once I'm done building the tower here. I'm going to take a quick break. Maybe get some water. Maybe get some snacks, I don't know, pretzels. Who doesn't like food, right? So, finish putting this in. Okay, there's the last fan. We put the red one in first, then the black one. Then we make sure that this doesn't get caught on the fan. Ooh, it's going to get caught maybe a little bit. This one isn't as long as some of the others were. Ooh, I don't want to pull it nothing. Yeah, I don't want to pull this off. Maybe I'll have to be looking into putting the fan in on a different direction. Let me see how this lines up, because I want to make sure that it doesn't get in the way. Yeah, I'm not liking that, so I'm probably going to have to take this off. Okay. Let's have a bit of a redo here, and the images, oh, okay. Let me check the image again here at the side, and see where they usually, doesn't really show, to be honest. Really does not show. But I assume that that's the direction I'm going to want it, because I still have this to put on afterwards. So, oh, that's true. That's actually, it's a good thing that I took that off then, because I'm going to want, yes, I want it like this, and then I'm going to want, yeah, I definitely messed that one up. So get these 4 in. Let's put that in sideways so they don't try and up. No, okay, they're already trying to pop out. My God. Sounds of struggling. How is this done? How do I do? Okay. Let's just get like at least one on. So then I think, yeah. So let's just not try and do all 4 at once, and just once I got 2 in, then it's already pretty secure. So let me get number 3 on. I shouldn't have too many more leftover screws or nuts or any of that stuff, thankfully. I'll put this in one larger bag by the time I'm done. So then, put this back over. Red, black, pop that down over. Okay, that's lining up relatively well. It's a little bit in the way of the GPIO, so let me try and that's what I was trying to prevent. Granted, I don't think I'm ever gonna like use that. So yeah, you can definitely tell that this was not exactly designed for the Raspberry Pi 4 because there's this nice open slot here where that should be. This is still here, thankfully, and the GPIO is in the same place, but they've got the placement for the one cable wrong, but that's not going to much matter when I probably won't be using those anyway. So let's put the caps on here. Most of the stuff is pretty tight enough by hand. I mean, it really shouldn't come apart. Based on my troubles here, I would not recommend tightening this with any tool or anything. You're only going to have more of a hassle. So as you can see, it's kind of gotten quite tall to the point where it's going out of the camera angle there a little bit. So, but the top is all on. We got 2 empty node tiers, but the rest is built, so that's all 4. So that is fully completed. So I've got actually got Ethernet cables here. Very nice quality ones. Actually, first I'm going to take a bit of a break. So, had a good snack. Alright, so here's a cluster. I'll try and move it over here. But this is the switch box that I got. Just a TP-Link. Already plugged it in, unpacked it, that kind of stuff. Nothing really to show here other than I've got these Ethernet cables. Kind of longer than I expected. Got some nice black cappings to them. I'm going to just untie them. Nothing too exciting overall. And now I haven't really done much with a switch box before. I'm just going to assume that I can just kind of plug the Ethernets in anywhere and expect them to work. In worst case scenario, I search up some things and then next video. Okay, yeah, these aren't too long, I guess. So there's one, and we'll just plug it into number 1 since it's master node. As long as the stuff plugs in. Christ, did not go in easily. I've actually got a couple of Ethernets, more than I need, and then I've got like a whole bunch of other spare Ethernet cables sitting over there, and some of them are Steam-Link Ethernet cables. So we'll set those up in a second. More twisty ties. Gotta love twisty ties. Make cables real easily, but when you've got cats and stuff, makes things a little less easy. So when the cat tries and goes and eats the damn things. So my other one is on the other side there. Okay. So that's good enough for now. I might twisty tie these up later or something like that. Essentially, Ethernets are all plugged in. I'll plug in the 2 Steam Links later. Now I've got one USB to USB micro or mini or whatever you want to call it technically. So let me just plug in the Raspberry Pi 3B. Plug that into a... Yeah, I don't know if I can pull this over enough. Okay, cool, I can. That's going to be upside down, but I can't flip it. I'm sorry, guys. I can try, maybe? Okay, that's at least a little better. But we got 3.5, 2.4, some 1.5, and 1 amp USB ports. They're all 3.0 based. So we're going to plug the Raspberry Pi 3 into the, what you want to call it, and I don't see it turning on, which is kind of concerning. Probably because it does not have an SD card in it. Let me Oh, because the power supply's not on. I'm dumb. But some of you already knew that. Regardless, let's now plug in, and I still have to set up some of the SD card stuff. I mean, you guys can't really see the power supply. It's just a little glowing light in the bottom. Lets me know that it's actually on. And then we need to plug in. The good thing about USB-C. Yeah, let me just unplug it again. The good thing about USB-C, I think my camera might have fallen down a little bit there. Sorry, guys. But the good thing about USB-C, if it will zoom, excusez-moi. There we go. Is that you can plug it in either direction. Doesn't matter. It's usually not as fast, but works nonetheless. And we have it to a 3.0, so that way it can take the full 3.5 amps, hopefully. Crossing fingers on that. So there we go. They're both powered up. No SD card in the one. I gotta set them both up to be running Ubuntu server, but they're currently not. So this is a total mess at the moment. Just lots of cables going all over the place. That's essentially as far as I'm going to get. I got some other. I do have an HDMI to HDMI mini as well. So I'll be plugging that into a monitor at some point. But that's about as far as I can get with this video. There's no real point in showing me plugging in the Steam links, considering I don't even have any clustering to them yet, and I'm going to have to still set up the SD cards to put Ubuntu server on that. So yeah, but got the tower built, got everything plugged in. Process is done, so now it's just a matter of getting the code and actually testing the overall cluster.